Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geeks alike, droids, Wookiees, Nerf herders, Star-Wing pilots, X-Wing pilots, TIE Fighter pilots, Dreadnought captains, and other people in the Rebellion, people in the Imperial, people who live on Coruscant, people who live in Tatooine, people who live on Jakku. It's this week's special Monkey Nut Punch podcast. It's Star Wars.
Yay!
Star Wars came out. So first question
Did
is...
it?
Yeah, came out. So the first question is, did you see it, Nigel?
Of course not.
Okay, fair enough. I'll save that for the Keith segment. If you understand sorry, and welcome Nigel, because Nigel's on the podcast with me. You have to understand that Keith was so keen on Star Wars, so very, very keen on Star Wars, that he made himself ill. So he couldn't attend this part of the podcast. But I am going to drag his ass out of bed and make him record a section because he really wanted to talk about it. So, you know.
That he did.
Like we are. He's going to bugger on without him. So
yeah. Unfortunately, it's a bit sold out where I am. So I'm waiting until I'm off work for Christmas and then I'll go with the kids. And I'll watch it then.
Okay. Well.
It should be a little bit calmer.
But what we'll do
point.
We'll go through the Star Wars news and because there's some good little nuggets here and there. So the first part is that you're not going to hate me for this, but Holly Willoughby, of
Holly Willy Booby, as she also is known.
Yeah, of this morning here in the UK, dropped a fucking massive spoiler live on TV.
Did she?
Yes.
Did someone else die?
No. Someone turns up. Small green character turns up who we weren't expecting to turn up. And they've got a great picture on the thumbnail of John Boyega going, shit. Just written all over his face, where Holly Willoughby has dropped this spoiler that Yoda is in the Last Jedi.
No, not that I've seen it, but if I remember the last film, it's the original films, isn't it? Doesn't he go off somewhere?
No, he becomes a Force Ghost.
I can't remember.
He dies. He lays down and goes... and then disappears like Obi-Wan did in his little rat trap of a house.
Oh, okay, yes, I remember now. He was in that swamp place, wasn't he?
Yes, Dagobah, where he had his evil cave installed. Why would anyone install an evil cave?
Especially if you're a Jedi.
Yeah,
and
it's
a Jedi Master.
Yeah, it's like, what fucking idiot. It's like, we're just going to install this evil cave here.
He's literally the epitome of good in that universe, and he installs an evil cave.
Yeah, just to check. I just want to check if I'm still good. So I go down to the evil cave. Yeah, if I think it's evil, then I'm still good.
Yeah, if I go down and go, oh, yeah, that shit, it's opposite of me, then I know what side I'm on. Yeah. But if I go down there, do you know what? This shit's good. Then I know I've turned, and I should be on the other side.
I wouldn't worry, because there's plenty of other things in there to keep you entertained. And lots of other things that happen, which are less spoilerific.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a thing, but you'll wait for it and go, how are they going to play this one?
Did they tell you?
Did they tell you? What? About
how Yoda's turned up.
You'll just trust me, you watch it and you know he turns up, it's like when he turns up.
Right.
And he's pretty good in the few minutes he has in the entire film. So
okay.
It's well worth it. So, yeah. So that was good. But Holly Willoughby ruined it on TV. And the worst thing is, I've got Google Launcher on my phone. So it has the news come up on it. So I flip over. And the top headline was, Holly Willoughby ruined Star Wars by telling everyone Yoda's in it. To which I looked at it and went, no, fucking Google's ruined it by telling me fucking Yoda's in it. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll take what somebody's done as a mistake and we'll blast it out there to everybody. Fucking morons.
Yeah.
I couldn't give two fucks if people told me about the film, because I'm going to go see it anyway. You're not ruining it anything for me. But there's a lot of people out there who would be pretty furious if they heard fucking spoilers about anything.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered, you know. But yeah, a bit of a clanger on her part because
massive clanger.
Because nowadays people are sensitive to fucking everything.
Yes.
Luckily, we're not in America, and nobody will sue her.
No, but we could go to jail. So we get it worse than the Americans. They have the protection of freedom of speech, where we have hate speech laws, which can put us in fucking jail. So we have to be careful.
I meant about Willabooby.
Willabooby. Oh well.
Nobody's going to sue her for
no.
For something. But I think if you're in the States, one person would at least try to say that they flaunted some law by telling them what's happened, or something.
Well, it's one of those things, because old Holly Willoughby. On the bright side, everyone knows about This Morning worldwide, which they didn't know about beforehand, so they got some nice publicity out of it.
On a plus, ratings are up.
Yeah, ratings are up, maybe for the wrong reasons. What other shit you're gonna let loose? At the moment, Star Wars is rating $450 million worldwide, which is quite it's quite a lot of money. It's done $220 million in the States, which is quite good. It's done $13 million here, and then the rest of the planet. We don't count the French.
Yeah, the French are excluded.
So that's a big old chunk of cash.
How much in the States?
In the States, it's 220 million.
Ooh.
That's pretty good for opening. I don't think it's as good as everyone thinks it is. But that's me. I'm not a Star Wars fan. Like you and Keith are massive Star Wars fans, and I'm not
huge, but I like it.
Yeah.
Nothing on the level of Keith and say Ben, because there are some nerds about it. That, you know, they're proper geeking out about the film coming out, and I'm like, I can wait. I'm not overly fussed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like it. My kids are they love it. But I'm nonplussed about it. I'll watch it when I can watch it. But how do you feel the film compares against the other previous one that has just come out?
You mean The Force Awakens?
Force Awakens.
I feel that the director, we're going to hear this twice, but I feel that the director went through the whole Force Awakens and corrected a load of shit that J.J. Abrams had put in there. He genuinely put it in there. It's like Rey says, I was really good at a lightsaber battle and I have no idea how. Yeah? She sits there and goes, I have no idea how. They show her that, okay, she was alright flying the Millennium Falcon, but fucking Chewie can fly it better.
Right, okay.
There's a bit where Chewie fucking flies the thingy. He's got like porgs all over the ship, and he's having to fucking bat them away. No, as I said in the first thing, where I said if she struggled whilst flying the Millennium Falcon, you'd feel a bit more, enamoured with the character.
Yeah.
But Chewie's like there, and he's got like a porg in the way, and he's like pushing it out so he can flip another switch a bit further around the console and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he does that. And it's like, oh, good. And there's other things like kind of the death of the Resistance and the rebirth of the Rebellion.
Okay.
But now Chewie's played by a Finnish guy called Jonas Santamua or something.
Is it because he's tall?
Probably because he is tall. But he's 100%
and he's got no
Finnish.
words.
He just like that.
Insert Chewie impression here. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was good. Chewie's like one of those characters who I think is a character has to suffer a bit alongside the other ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. But
do we get to see Darth Vader again?
No, sorry, man.
He's not in this one.
Not even a melty helmet. But I'll be honest with you, the way it played out, you didn't need to see him.
Okay.
It could stand quite firmly on its own without having to see him. It did feel a little isolated.
Okay.
Yeah, because Star Wars always kind of gives you a bit of a scope, making you feel like the rest of the universe exists, where this one didn't, which I think is a bit of a downer.
Okay.
But hey, these things happen. It's still a good film though. I'll save the rest of that chat with Keith
Yes.
Which,
because I'm sure Keith's got his own opinions on it, and he'll be raving like a loony about it.
It'll be the greatest Star Wars film ever.
Since Rogue One.
Since Rogue One, yeah. It was the last film out.
Yeah.
So actually, what I think I'll do is just I think I'll just insert our Star Wars conversation here. Right. Never touch another man's Wookiee. That's what I said to him. So, Star Wars Death of the fucking franchise. I mean,
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Possibly the last movie. No, we know there's.
It's not the last movie. There's 18 of the fuckers that are already slated, so it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, so yes, The Last Jedi. I've seen it twice.
You've seen it twice.
I saw it at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
On the day of release. And there were earlier showings than the one we went to. And I'll give the cinema. There was a guy dressed up as a stormtrooper doing all the checking of tickets, so it was quite cool. I had to go back and see it again because it was stupid o'clock in the morning, and I needed to form an opinion. And I think I have come to an opinion, and surprisingly, most of the mega Star Wars fans agree with me.
What's that?
They failed to address Snoke, and I have said this since day one. You need to do that. You need to at least give us a bit of information.
Have you not heard that they're releasing a new film? It's called Snokey Pokey.
Snokey Pokey.
Snokey Pokey. Star Wars. Snokey Pokey. Snokey Pokey. A Star Wars story. The story of Supreme Empress Snoke. Yeah.
I mean, I remember the interview with.
Oh, hang on! Stop.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning. Carry on.
Yeah, if you have not seen Last of the Jedi, don't fucking listen to this because we're spoiling the shit out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right, let's focus on Snoke, okay? Because
to me, right, you had J.J. Abrams' film. Whatever you think of The Force Awakens, right? And
I fucking hate it.
Well,
I think it's because I don't like J.J. Abrams.
I think so, but you also have. There are some brilliant moments in it.
What brilliant moments are in there?
When Han and Chewie walks onto the Millennium Falcon, that does it for anybody.
What?
Right, you have to understand, the first ever film I saw was Star Wars. Star Wars has been with me my entire life. Star Wars was the first film my old man took my mum to. It was the first date they went on. They went to see Star Wars together. We got like an emotional contact to the Star Wars universe. So I've been a Star Wars fan my whole entire life. And I look at those three originals, and you don't have to introduce the Empire at the beginning because these were three new films. We've since now had 6 films. You've had the 3 prequels. Whatever you think of those prequels, they explained the origin of Star Wars. So here you have Force Awakens. It was like Star Wars' greatest hits. It had loads of moments in it, but it was a rehash of what had come before. It done nothing original. And while this movie is original, it fails to address the questions that were asked in the first one. Who the fuck are the First Order? Where did they come from? Because we know what Luke and Leia, we know what Luke's been up to in the last 30 years. We kind of get what happened to Han and Leia, but we don't know what the First Order are and where they fucking came from. And you feel like you're missing something. And in this movie was meant to address that. And it utterly fails to do that.
Was it meant to address that? I thought it was supposed to address why Rey had her powers, and I thought it was supposed to address who Supreme Leader Snoke is. Because if you explain who he is, you probably explain who the First Order is at the same time.
Yes, exactly. And you're missing that. But the thing that bothers me, I suppose, about these movies is that it almost, it's like Disney doesn't care because they know it's going to make a shit ton of money. Whereas they worried more about the side movies like Rogue One and Solo. They worry about those films because people are aware that they are not part of the central saga. So people might not go to see those. Whereas these movies, every mother and his fucking uncle is going to go and see it. And they have done. It's made £500 million in its opening weekend. Sorry, dollars. £500 million. In its opening weekend.
But a quarter.
So no. 400. It's done over $450 million.
Okay.
Worldwide in its opening weekend. That's from Thursday to Sunday night. I mean, it's going to go on and make $1 billion. No problem. It's a Star Wars movie. But say what you like about the prequels. The story wasn't the biggest issue with those prequels. It was bad acting, bad casting, too much emphasis on special effects. But the story did explain the origins of the Empire. It did let you realise how the Emperor got power. And it filled a few sort of major plot holes in the original 3.
Yeah.
They should have followed Lucas's treatment. You know, I understand. You know, you're going to have all these side stories. There's where you focus your new stuff and your new writing. Look at Rogue One, brilliant movie. Rogue One is still the best new Star Wars film by a country mile.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. But I'd see the thing is, I watched it. And I'm not joking. My opinion of it was so incredibly low. I had...
Well, you went in with low expectations.
I went in with the lowest expectations. I was expecting this to be utter garbage. That was my thing, and I was actually I was pleasantly surprised. I'll be frank with you, because it was, for me, just the experience of just going to the cinema with my father-in-law and my son. So there's 3 generations of us all watching Star Wars together. Was a good thing. Someone didn't put their phone on silent. Yeah. Yep. Which was a good thing. But the story felt. There were aspects of it I didn't like. So the first one, as you said, they killed off supremely to Snoke very easily. Yeah, which, okay, fair enough. If that's what you're going to do, you're going to do that. Then they had the big plot hole with the, you can ram ships at light speed. So why didn't they ram the other empty ships at light speed?
Why didn't they ram the Death Star?
Yeah. You could have rammed Death Star, could have punched a fucking great hole in it. Hell, you could have even done Planet Killer at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the equivalent of the blood platelets in the Star Trek Into Darkness. You know, they can bring anything back to life with those things. So it's like, fucking hell, you can bring anything back to life. So you've got that. You've got the whole thing with Finn and Rose.
Finn's. I liked Rose as a character. I have to say that a lot of people have been a lot of the hardcore fans.
Hang on, no, she deserves a lot of criticism. I'll explain why she deserves a lot of criticism.
I liked her character. I thought she was likable. The problem is that entire Blee plotline was completely pointless.
Yeah,
and did not serve the movie.
And
the only reason it's there is because they didn't know what to do with Finn.
Yeah.
And they couldn't cut him out because then they would be called racist.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, sorry. Then there was the Phasma's Fast 5 Minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. It turns out that she was the most fucking pointless character in existence.
Yes.
Makes Boba Fett look fucking positively.
Although I did like Finn's line, "Bring it on, Chrome Dome."
Yeah.
I thought that was quite good. Although a lot of the dialogue in this movie is awful.
Yeah. How
many times did they reference Rebel Scum? Rebel Scum was used once in The Last Jedi. It is one line in The Return of the Jedi, and it is when Han and Luke are caught. No, sorry, Han is caught in the thing, and the guy goes, "Silence, Rebel Scum." That's the only time Rebel Scum is ever used, and it became this is used in every other bit of fucking dialogue in this film.
I didn't think it was overused.
It was hugely overused.
I couldn't remember it. Sorry, and then anyway, can I get through my points?
Yeah, sorry.
Then there was the pointless death of Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Then there's the problem. There's the problem with the fact that, hang on a second, all of a sudden Yoda can appear as a ghost and strike people down with lightning. That would be fucking useful somewhere, wouldn't it? Yeah. Right. As a skill, if all of a sudden I could just summon fucking lightning from here and I'm dead. Who's going to stop me?
Again, I want to address a couple of points here because a lot of people have gotten about Luke's force.
Anyway, can I? Then it wasn't a force projection; it was a fucking the Jedi mind trick. And I'll be honest with you, that's the one thing that I haven't got a fucking problem with.
No, I haven't got a problem with it either.
That one was fine. I'll be frank with you.
Yeah, because I understand how it works. Because a lot of people go, "Oh, you can't do that." Look, they even say it in this film. The Force connects everybody to everything. Effectively, he network projected himself across the network. It makes absolute sense.
Just did a VPN and into that location and everything was fine.
In IT terms, they explain that the Force connects everybody to everything. It's a connection to every living thing. But all he did was project himself across it.
I'm glad because it made so much sense when the new AT-ATs were firing at him and they couldn't do jack shit against him.
That bit.
And you were like, part of me's like, kind of, he's not fucking there, is he? This is a trick. This is a trick, because there's no fucking way he would have got away with that. If you'd have seen him, like, disappear up, or he'd have popped out the ground like a hobbit, you'd have gone, okay, fair enough.
It was when he pulled out the lightsaber that I knew it was, there's something was amiss, because you'd just seen the lightsaber get destroyed. And I was sitting in the cinema, and this was...
Hang on, didn't he pull his green lightsaber out?
No, he pulls the blue one out. And that's when I noticed it, because I went, ugh, like that, and I was pointing at the cinema, and I got told to shut up by the other people. I was going, it's like, hang on, there's something amiss there. I noticed that immediately.
Yeah.
But...
So you've got all these problems. It's thrown into these really dumb things, yeah? So it's the one with... I like the fact that Yoda came back, yeah? That was cool.
And it was the puppet.
Yeah, it was the puppet. The problem is it looked like it was the original puppet.
It was the original puppet.
It kind of needed a bit of touching up, shall we say?
I don't know.
It was looking a little thin in places.
What I liked about that was it was the Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back rather than the prequels Yoda, who was a bit... So he seemed a bit more crazy old man-like, which I really liked. I liked the whole... That was one of my favourite scenes in the entire movie, because that linked back more than anything else in that film for me. That perfect little 2-minute scene between Yoda and him, it was great. And I can understand how Yoda can interact still. He is a Jedi master.
Yeah, but hang on, stop. The thing about being dead, yeah?
But he's not.
The dead can't affect the living.
Right, we keep saying that. Everybody's going on a right, let's get...
No, he's dead.
He's not dead.
He's dead. He has no physical body, ergo he's
what
dead.
Happened to his body? You see, there's a difference. When a lot of Jedi get killed, and you see their bodies and they're still there afterwards and they're burnt. Look at Qui-Gon Jinn. When Obi-Wan was struck down, his body disappeared. As did Yoda's in The Empire Strikes Back, as did Luke's.
Anakin's didn't.
Anakin wasn't that strong.
But Anakin came back as a Force ghost.
Yeah, but that cut that, but it was a bit... Luke sees them at the end. And
the long and the short of it is he shouldn't be able to cast those lightning darts, because the long and the short of it is, why do you turn up and kill Snoke off like that? Yeah, see, that's why it becomes super plot holy. See, the thing that they tried doing in this movie was, I've heard some people refer to it as they tried to gotcha. Yeah? They were doing this gotcha, yeah? And it's like kind of, oh, you think Princess Leia's dead? Because clearly no one can survive the vacuum of space. Oh, and I'd just like to point out one thing, yeah? You can't discharge heat in space. You boil first before you freeze.
I'm sorry, right? This is the thing. The biggest problem I have with this entire film, other than the Snoke thing, is that entire Leia thing.
Yeah.
And I know this is me being hypocritical, because I messaged Gareth as soon as I came out of the movie. I'm going to go, you probably think it's all right, but there is something in it that's going to really, really piss you off. Because I like to point out, this is why Gareth would not agree to marking down Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, as a perfect movie for that whole fucking space scene. This is far worse than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, it is.
This is... She would have been a frozen icicle pop the second she was by... They're not even by a planet. They're not even by a heat source.
Do you know what,
they're in deep interstellar space.
Do you know what would have worked better? I would have had it so she would have got blown out, yeah? But somehow she got back on the ship. And then she turned out that she was a fucking Force ghost projecting herself, and then she then disappeared at the end because she was just there to make sure they got safe.
That would have worked.
Yeah, because that would have been nicer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you'd have done that, you could have had the bit where Luke is on the rock, yeah, and he's just finished doing his projection, and she could have leant over, put her hand on his shoulder, and said it's time. Because they both came into the world at the same time, and they both left at the same time. And there would have been a nice bit of symmetry there.
I mean, it's funny, because you're sort of hinting at how they're going to not have Leia in the next movie, because the idea was, right from the offset, was Episode 7 would be Han's big send-off, heroic moment send-off. 8 was always going to be Luke's heroic moment send-off. 9 was going to be Leia's. Now she's not obviously going to be in it, because unfortunately Carrie Fisher passed away, but I think they're going to do it off screen, and the reason I thought it immediately when I came out, and now about 3 or 4 days after me seeing the movie, the internet's catching up and clearly thinking the same way as I am. That scene right at the end, the kid, the broom kid, sorry, using the Force there, that signifies a time jump. There's going to be a time jump between this movie and the next one. A significant.
Can I just ask something? Apparently, this happened directly after Force Awakens.
Yes, it did.
Okay, give me this right. they had the what do you call it? The
They had
planet
more
killer.
fucking ships.
Right, hang on. They're the planet killer, and they had all those ships. Yeah, all right. And then all of a sudden, they've managed to conquer the galaxy within the space of about 10 hours.
Well, they blew up the. You see, this is the thing that.
Oh no, but they need to. There's all they have hyperspace ways that they travel down. Yeah, so they need to secure all of
Such a
that.
throwaway scene in Episode 7, but highly significant, was the destruction of Coruscant. They blew up the heart of the Republic. So and they made. This is what pisses me off the most about Episode 7. Whatever you thought, Coruscant deserved a bigger scene than that, and an entire thing around.
I didn't think that was Coruscant.
It was Coruscant.
Really?
Yep. Because
it didn't even look like it.
It does. There was a bit where
it looked more like fucking Ilium from fucking
it's Coruscant.
Mass Effect.
Because when you zoom, and then you had all those planets apparently next to it. It was a lame ass scene, but that was the destruction. Hence the reason why the galaxy now is in turmoil. But it's such a throwaway scene in Episode 7. You don't understand.
Yeah, but hang on, that still comes down to 10 hours to conquer the galaxy. I'm sorry, I don't fucking buy that.
I don't buy any of these. I think the central episodes haven't been great. It is a better movie than Episode 7.
Okay, all right.
If it was a standalone movie outside of the saga, it would be quite a good popcorn flick.
Okay.
I mean, it's quite a good movie in respect of. The one thing I will say about it is I knew where roughly it was going to end, or had a good idea. But how it got there with all the twists and turns was quite cool. I mean, I did quite like the way it was a bit of a roller coaster all the way through. That it would do something you didn't expect.
Let's go round character by character. I think it's probably the best way of doing it. All right, so we'll start off with Poe. Yeah. So Poe did something which I believe that wins wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts off at the beginning and he disables the fucking the screen on the dreadnought, yeah. So he takes out the fight at the anti-aircraft,
cannons.
So he takes out So they then employ the slowest fucking bombers in Star Wars history, yeah. You have these things called, I think they're called B wings, and then you have Y wings too,
yeah.
And these are all attack bombers that are quite fast, but for some reason they're employing the slowest fucking bombers ever.
Well, there's been a lot of theory about this, partly because the Y ones and the Y wings and the B wings don't carry that many bombs. If you notice one thing about it,
the B wings. Hang on a second.
A shit.
No, hang on a second. The B wings, yeah. They have. How can I put it? They have a fucking great big laser on them to cut through Star Destroyers. Yeah.
Yes, but this
invented by Admiral Akbar. Yeah. So 2 of them at the right point could have done the damage. Yeah.
In theory.
All right. So you've got this bit. The Poe Dameron does the right thing. He does it.
The bombers didn't bother me that
No. That bomb. You know what? It really bothered me because it's like kind of, you have the turrets on the ship to try and take care of the fighters. Yeah, the fighters and the bombers. That's what the turrets on the ship are designed for, as defensive measure. But as counter defensive measure, you have your fighter screen. Yeah.
Yes.
So naturally, he's taking down the turrets. You deploy the fighter screen. Yeah. The bombers. You deploy the bombers, and then you give them what? You give them a fighter screen. So all those fucking fighters that you saw in the thingy, the reason all the bombers got bashed to shit is they didn't have a fucking
4 or
escort.
5 of them got taken out at once by one crashing into the other, and it was a bit of a.
Yeah, but you're not.
But he didn't really again make.
You're not supposed to have a fucking close formation. But Poe Dameron had a point. Yeah, if you've got them on the ropes, you keep fucking hitting them until they're dead.
Yes.
Yeah, because they ain't gonna. If you give them a break, they will kill you in that break. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was one thing that really fucked me off because from me, I watched that bit and I was like, no, he made the right fucking call. If I was in that situation, I'd make a call. That's not a hot-headed call.
But it says.
And hang on a second, and he went out and took out the things himself. All right, okay? He put his own arse on the line because what could have happened is he could have flown over that thing, gone. Yeah. So you had that. I felt that they went too hard on him because I felt he did the right tactics. If you know anything about history, yeah, the Japanese could have just taken care of the US at Pearl Harbor if they carried on, yeah?
But you're probably meant to feel like that. What I'm saying is that's not a glitch in the movie or bad writing. That is
bad writing because the bombers should have had a decent fighter screen, yeah? And they should have had decent formation.
Right, and the Death Star for 20 before Rogue One,
chicken wire over
the Death Star, the whole Death Star, 2 meter, big thing in the Death Star kind of ching. That was only explained by Rogue One. There's always been these kind of.
Yeah, but it's obvious, and the worst thing was that there were tons of fighters in that fucking thing. So was the Death
Star in the original movie. The only reason they fucking did this is because they had the opportunity to make Rogue One. If Rogue One had never been made, they never would have explained that one off. And they had to explain that one off. There's one to say, Star Wars has always been full of things like that. That, as a thing, doesn't piss me off.
That did piss me off. And then the next bit, right? He's on the ship, and it's like, kind of, look, we can't just sit here until the fuel runs out and die.
But that was never their plan.
No, hang on a second. It's the dumbest plan ever. Shut up. It's not... This is a typical... You put a feminist fucking in charge of it, not a woman. Yeah? Coloured hair, no fucking idea what's going on. Alright? So instead of saying, don't worry, we've got it in hand, he asks directly, do you have a plan?
Yeah,
she doesn't answer him. Yeah? So you have this side story that's set up all because of that. So you made this character, you put a woman character in there because you want to put strong, empowered women in there and make them look smart. You made her look really fucking dumb. Yeah?
She should have probably said, yeah, I've got a plan,
that's
don't
it.
worry.
She just had to go try a little faith. Yeah? That's all she had to do. So that was Poe Dameron's journey through the whole fucking thing, yeah? He does get a bit of redemption at the end where he's trying to leave, yeah? And Carrie Fisher turns around and goes, why are you looking at me? Follow him. Yeah, which means
that's the whole handing over the
yeah, I know, but
torch.
To be honest with you, they fucked their resistance up to the point that they could all fit in the Millennium Falcon.
Hence the time jump.
Yeah.
So this is how they're going to explain off. Carrie Fisher will die off screen. She will obviously. She's not.
No. Don't worry about Carrie Fisher. That's the character. Go to the next character. The next character is Rey. So you.
The actress. I've had a problem with the actress.
Not the actress.
But it doesn't.
Character and then the actress.
I don't see the character because of the actress, and that's the problem. Like in that first one, those ridiculous facial expressions she pulls, especially when she's in the sort of junkyard bit with and the First Order turned out. She pulls that really weird facial expression, and as Finn's running up to her. In this one, again, she's on Arch 2 with Luke, and she's banging on about the Resistance, but it's all flatly delivered, and it just doesn't... It feels like somebody who doesn't like Star Wars is reading something going, well, and the Resistance one, it's so flatly delivered. So it bothers me throughout the whole thing, and you don't see Rey, you just keep seeing less than subpar acting.
Well, I was going to talk about the fucking character a bit, because the first thing that bugged me about the character was the fact that she looked like a 14-year-old boy. She didn't look very feminine. In the first film, she looked more feminine, if that makes it. They'd done something to her to make her look less feminine. She either put on some weight around her face, she may have been on steroids and got moon face, which you might get when you're on steroids. Yeah? But that was one thing that bothered me.
Point, yeah.
Yeah, so, because she didn't look as feminine, and she looked like quite... And she's very flat-chested. Sorry, awful thing to say. She's very flat-chested, to the point she did look like a boy. From a distance, you could have mistaken her for a boy, a 14-year-old boy that was telling Luke what to do. Anyway, what's it? She turns up at, what do you call it? We're going to call it Luke's Island. It's not whatever you want to
It's Arch 2.
No, it's Luke's Island, all right? It's Luke's Jedi hideaway, all right? So he's there, and she goes up, she hands him the lightsaber, yeah? And they changed it, because at the end of the last film, she looked upset, yeah? And in this one, she's fine. She gives him the lightsaber, and he's like, fuck that.
Did that make you laugh?
Did make me laugh.
I
didn't think that was funny. I thought it was like, okay.
And why? The humour was very misplaced.
Some places it was misplaced, some places it wasn't. Chewie and the Porgs
was good.
The bit where Chewie's eating his lunch, and they're looking at him, and they're like, fuck off.
That's very Star Wars. That wasn't out of place. I'm talking about Poe's bit with Hux.
I like that, actually.
You would, but Hux is very camp. He's camp even for Star Wars.
The downside is that he should have let him do it once, and then he should have turned around and says, "All forward batteries, open fire." Yeah, and then you should have had Poe going, "Oh shit!" and that's when he does that U-turn.
I mean, it was over campifying. I know that Star Wars villains are a bit camp.
Hang on, just a quick one.
I know that.
Did you note who his fucking second was?
Yes.
It was Eddie from Bottom.
It is.
Aid Edmondson.
It is. Yes. Oh fuck! It's been bothering me since day. I know who this guy is. I know who this guy. It is Aid Edmondson.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was looking at that, and it's like kind of. The moment I noticed him, I thought it was going to be some more fucking jokes than the scene because they got a comedian to do a part. But yeah, so you had Rey. She went to the fucking island, right? She had that weird thing with Kylo where they managed to connect.
Yeah, that was Snoke doing that.
I'll be honest with you, yeah. I actually like that idea because there were bits in the first films
I didn't have a problem with that.
Where they tried doing that, but I think it was it was filmed better and the idea kind of came across stronger.
That was quite Star Wars. The villain was doing that to get them together. It was double crossing them. That all works because it's reminiscence of Jedi's sort of the Emperor getting them two together. That was a very Star Wars thing. I had no problem with that. I mean, and I thought Rey's bit when she finally turns up on Snoke's ship, and then there's the fight scene with her and Kylo where they just decimate that room full of the guards. I love the bit where she's in that fight and he's got her in that lock and she's looking at him and then she just drops the lightsaber through and then comes under, catches the lightsaber and just fucking slices out him. That's fucking awesome. That was cool. I mean, that whole fight scene was very well done. There are things to like about this film. But it's a bit like Episode 7, where there's more things to like about this one than 7. But it's lazy.
But come back here and just sticking with Rey, yeah. So there was in the first film, she seemed to just pick up everything okay and not make any mistakes, which I found very unendearing. This one, she made a lot more mistakes, which I from my perspective, I liked her more in this film. She was much more likable and much more relatable because there's a bit where she's training and you see in the what do you call it? You see in the trailer she goes to get the thing and she gets the lightsaber and she doesn't get through the crack, yeah. But when you're watching the film, she cuts the fucking thing off. And then the rock falls down, almost killing some of the inhabitants, yeah? That, from my perspective, made her more of a character, because that says something, yeah? She says, a bit reckless, yeah? In that one action, that told me she's a bit reckless, yeah? And then the bit where she has the Kylo Ren vision, and she shoots through the fucking wall, yeah? Okay, they tried to make it a bit humorous, but at the same time, very quick you can see that she's making decisions quickly, and she's making mistakes. Yeah, which says more about the character. But before it was just she could just do everything, but now she's fucking up, and that made me like her more.
Yeah,
because before it was like she'd never make a mistake, and it's like no, I don't want to see someone who doesn't make a mistake. They're boring people. Yeah, they're boring people. You can just cut out everything, and you can just have the end. If that's the case, beat the thingies, put the kettle on.
But I mean, it's funny. I know exactly what's going to happen in Episode 9 with her. It's going to cut to her, and she's going to be this. There's going to be a time jump. I'm absolutely convinced there's going to be a time jump. I keep coming back to this. So by this point, she's going to be a full-fledged uber-duber Jedi Knight. And the reason that she's doing that is because Luke's trained her.
Yeah.
Because the line that Leia says where it was peace and purpose, and the whole Yoda turning up as a Force ghost thing is to remind you that there are such things as Force ghosts. Is the fact that I can almost see the scene where it's going to show her being this kick-ass Jedi, and then she's going to disappear into some back room somewhere, and then Luke's going to appear.
But there's the if Yoda can be a Force ghost, then Snoke can be a Force ghost.
Well, there's that. And they have got to do something, because at the moment we are missing a big piece of the puzzle.
No, yeah. Right, hang on a second. Okay. So in this version, I found Rey to be the much better.
Yeah, I just
better
can't.
Character.
I can't.
She isn't a good actress. I would describe her as someone who's a fan of Star Wars, and somehow got into the film. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
because part of her, even when she's angry, she's happy in her eyes.
There's a bit where she just delivers. It's just ham-fisted.
Yeah, it is ham-fisted. Just say she's a shade above Hayden Christensen, shall we say?
Oh no, she's better than better than Hayden Christensen.
I would put them in the same deck of cards, though.
She doesn't irritate me nearly as much. She does irritate me, but
the first one she did, but the second one she didn't. And the thing is that if you see interviews with her, she seems like a genuinely nice person.
Oh yeah, look,
that's the thing.
Yeah, she certainly is a good ambassador of the movie. I should say when she's interviewed outside. It's the facial expressions. And
the gurning, just call it gurning.
Yeah, okay.
Because she gurns. So yeah, she has that bit, and this is the thing that kind of pissed me off. Actually, it's the bit where Kylo Ren turns around and says, "Oh, they've killed Snoke now." Yeah, and he says to Rey, "Oh, now we can rule it together." Yeah. To make the story different, she should have said yes. She should have said yes, and she should have said the first thing we're going to do, stop following the fleet, leave them. There's nothing. They're one ship. There's nothing to them. Yeah, that would have been far more fucking interesting. Yeah, because you could have had her like doing one thing and him doing one thing, and then like turning on each other, sort of thing. That would have been more interesting because we've seen Darth Vader going, me and you could take down the Emperor together, father and son. Yeah. I've seen that shit before. I haven't seen it when the good guy turns around and says, yeah, let's do it. That would have been more interesting. And I felt that would have made her a more interesting character overall. And that would have given us a better twist too.
Well, they're just setting it up for the final showdown.
If it is going to be J.J. Abrams, I'm not watching. I'm not wasting my time on it.
It is.
I fucking hate it.
The episode 9 is J.J. Abrams.
It's going to be worse than this one. It is. It's going to be worse than this one to a fucking magnitude of 12. Anyway,
see, this is what annoys me though. That annoys me full front about all of them. But I mean, we move on to Luke
in a second, yeah,
because curiously, how Luke behaves in this movie, some people criticise, but I get it, and it is completely within character. If you go back and watch the original 3 movies, he is a bit of a moany bastard.
Yeah, he is a whingy bastard.
And in Jedi, there are several moments that heavily implied where he is tempted to turn and he doesn't, but there are moments when he does go nearly to the dark, and the fact that he trains the Knights of Ren. By the way, we know who the Knights of Ren are now.
Yeah, that's another problem continuity wise. Actually,
yes, I know. But having that moment. It was a very human moment when he said, "I was tempted, and then I realised." But by then, the damage had been done.
Yeah, and it did make sense too.
He blamed himself for Kylo Ren, and that's why he cut himself off from the Force and went and lived on an island and felt like Jedi had to die. All of that made absolute sense.
Hang on a second. He went back and examined the Jedi because the Jedi are full of shit.
Yeah, but they are.
They are. That's what the first 3 films said, and that's probably why people didn't like it as much. Is because the first 3 films turned around going, the Jedi are technically full of shit, yeah? Whether you like them or not, full of shit. They steal children, it's the first one. They steal children, they act like a force unto themselves, yeah? And it's like, well, hang on a second, who fucking elected you? No one elected you. Well, I've got the force. I don't fucking care if you've got the force.
Certainly what Rebels implies as well.
Yeah. That's why they lost.
Yeah.
Because they were flawed. And you got characters like Bentu in Star Wars Rebel who insists on making sure the Force is balanced, and I think that Luke Skywalker as a character came to the point where he realised it only works if it's balanced, and the whole light side and dark side is bullshit, and it kind of stems from the DJ character. Yeah, you blow them up today, they blow you up tomorrow.
I had an inkling ever since we saw him turn up in episode 7 right at the end and how old he was looking that they were going to kill him off in this movie. I just thought they were going to. What they've actually done makes far more sense. The only thing that I have about this is I wish we'd seen more of him having I wish there'd been more of a showdown with Kylo Ren at the end. I wish there'd been a bigger, faster paced, aggressive lightsaber battles showing what Luke was, because they got the tech to do that, showing, because again, you never really get a sense of Luke's power in the movies. They've done the same thing with Vader, and it's only the likes of Rogue One and Rebels that really give you the sense of why Vader is feared.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, in the first movie, Vader does that whole fucking thing in the Death Star, and you go, oh, he's somebody to be feared, and it worked in the 70s, but we've come along a bit. So you get Rebels goes a fucking long way to show you why you're fearful of it. And I think we needed to see a bit more. They had an opportunity here to say, this is why he's a Jedi Master. He kicks ass.
Yeah.
And only then, and he should have done a similar thing to Obi-Wan and let himself be struck. Because he realised he was a force projection in this case. But I wanted to see him absolutely, kick. What should have happened is he should have kicked Ren's ass. As in, had him on the thing, and then the force projection fails or something like that, and you realise that he's still on Arch 2.
So, for me, you want to amp up the tension, yeah? So, I would have had three things go on. You had the fight with Luke Skywalker versus the thingy, but I would have also sent some soldiers, into the fucking base to chase them through the thingy, because that would have made it more tense as if running through the thing and trying not to get caught, and then you got Rey on the other side trying to find them, and then you got Luke down there, and it's like, how the fuck is Luke going to get away from this? But saying that was one thing that did cheer me up. Chewie is clearly a better pilot than Rey.
Yes.
Because he was doing that with porgs and everything. And no, I said when I said that you would have liked the Rey character more if she struggled when she was doing that. Well, Chewie was struggling because he had the fucking things everywhere, so he's like trying to hit switches and they're in the sodding way.
I love the porgs. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, I'm worried about the porgs." Every time something is cute in Star Wars, they're annoying. I quite like the Ewoks. Sorry, I know I liked the Ewoks. Didn't like Jar Jar. I'm with you on that one. But the porgs were good. I like the porgs. As you mentioned earlier on in the podcast, the bit with Chewie and the eating the porg was fucking brilliant. It was very funny. Yeah. And it worked, and it was totally within keeping.
Yeah,
it worked because there is humour in Star Wars. It just was out of kilter in this.
Yeah. But as I said, it would have amped the tension up. And the other thing, is if they would have played the music Duel of Fates while it was going on.
Yeah, but that was from the original.
But
we should have had. I know the piece of music you mean, and there should have been something else written like that.
Yeah, because that's much more
big,
exciting.
Sort of choir back. Yeah,
that was the best bit of fucking Phantom Menace.
Yes,
is when What's His Mush comes out and they fight.
Yes,
and you're like, everyone saw that, went, could have done with a bit more.
But you see, we had an argument about 2 years ago on a podcast where I made a very controversial statement saying some of the best moments in Star Wars come from those three prequels. That was one of them. It is still one of the best moments of Star Wars when he turns up, that music plays, and you just get that double-ended lightsaber comes out, and you're just like, this is awesome.
But saying that, you've got the dramatic music when he fights Darth Vader on the Death Star at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Not quite as good.
I think it's better. I dare you to sit down with me and we'll watch them back to back, the two fights, and we'll just watch the two fights, and you tell me that's not as good.
It's a different kind of thing, because the one in Jedi, is it, you're talking about the Jedi one, or you're talking about the one in Empire?
No, we're talking about the Jedi one where he's in the Emperor's chamber at the end,
right.
And he's
that's emotional. That's the emotional
that's what you
impact
want.
of it.
That's what you want. Some weight behind what you're doing.
Whereas the one with thingy in Phantom Menace is just awesome. It's just like this is Star Wars porn. Mm-hmm. The very different scenes, so they have very different meanings in many respects. And then of course you get in the next one, the Yoda fight scene, which still awesome.
I don't.
I love that. No. I love that. You needed to see that. You needed that. And then Yoda's showdown with the Emperor in season. So I will sit through those films just for those fight scenes because they're fucking awesome. But
anyway, let's get back to
they missed a beat on with Luke there, but I knew Luke was going to go, and I had a feeling this was what they were going to do. They were going to pass him into the Force Gate, and he was going to be the Obi-Wan style Luke, and in this way, it'd be Rey over, when she's doing something particularly heroic kind of thing in Episode 9.
Hang on a second. Do you know I wrote a blog post and it turns around and it says, Luke, use the Force, and then I went, don't use the Force, use the targeting system. Hundreds of thousands of man hours have been put into creating this targeting system. Many committee meetings were done to make sure this targeting system works perfectly. Use the targeting system. Han Solo doesn't fucking do the calculations to hyperspace on the back of a fag packet, for crying out loud. But that's what we're going to get from Luke and Rey in the future.
They're going to go blatantly in the next one.
They're going to have another fucking Death Star, aren't they? They're having another Death Star.
I don't know.
They're having another Death Star.
If they do,
whether the case if they mount it to a fucking ship, or they put it on a planet, or carve it into a moon, or whatever, they've got another fucking Death Star in it. It's going to be the big reveal.
Because J.J. Abrams is, you could be correct. I hope that you're wrong, but I think you're probably onto something there.
Yeah.
It's an issue, and this is why. See, I'm almost looking forward to the side films more than I am Episode 9.
I think the Han Solo movie.
They've reshot it all. Let me go. They have, although they haven't really announced this. If you work by Pinewood, you can kind of get a guess of what's going on. That film went back and reshot everything. It's been done by a director I trust reasonably well.
Who's that?
It's Ron Howard that took over.
But these are the people who did it before were the guys who did the Lego movie.
Yeah, but they made one good movie.
No, they've made a couple of good movies. I can't remember. I'll have to find it out. But
they did the Lego movie, but if you read what they were intending to do with this, it sounded a bit. Again, I can see why Disney were worried with that. Because one, you are dicking with probably the most iconic character of Star Wars. It was always intended to be Luke Skywalker. It never was. It was always Han Solo. Han Solo was infinitely more liked than Luke was. It was always Han Solo. People liked him more because he was that slightly bit roguish and things like that. So when you make an origin story of Han Solo, this is one you have to get right. Because there isn't that much of a new. This movie is going to appeal to the old school, bit like Rogue One did. This movie is going to appeal. You are going after the old school fans, the ones that were brought up when the original three were out, or our age group and before, and our parents, basically.
Yeah,
you got to get this right. I'm listening to what was being said. It didn't sound it. So this might be good. And don't forget, Rogue One went through a load of reshoots.
Yeah, and there were some bits in there that looked really fucking cool. The one where she's standing on the antenna and the TIE fighter comes up.
Yeah.
That looked fucking awesome, and they cut that. That was the bit I was like, kind of, dude, what's his mush? The guy in the white robe gonna be in it. Anyway, back to Luke. He was a moody, cantankerous bastard. The bit is like he looked into the Jedi and he read those books, and I loved what fucking Yoda said. Real page turners were they? It's all bollocks. And it was. I think the whole thing with he even puts it on silent and the vibrate's making noise. So anyway, go back to Luke. So we had Luke, and he was fucking hell. I can't fucking remember who it was now. Is your wife texting you? It's the only fucking excuse you've got. If it's anyone else, they can get fucked.
It is my wife. It is my wife.
Okay, you get a wife pass. So yes, where was I? So you got Luke, cantankerous old bastard. Looked at the Jedi stuff to describe that it not being good. They showed the pool with the mosaic of the thing that looked like Snoke.
Yes.
Because they showed that in the trailer, and I was thinking that would be the thing. He's like he was the first Jedi, so it would have been the first Jedi versus the last Jedi, which would have been really good, and that would have explained the First Order, the First Order of the Jedi Knights.
Here's the thing for me, right? And I know I keep repeating this, but it's true. If they had explained that, or we'd had a link like that, I would have loved this film. I would have. Because my biggest problem about this I can forgive this film a lot. Because actually, when you go back and watch the original Star Wars, you have to forgive a lot there. You do. But you do, because they're awesome movies. This was quite a good movie. If it was out of the saga, and it was on its own, it would have been quite a good movie. The biggest issue is exactly what you've said there. We've had 2 years to speculate who the fuck is Snoke. And they did that. And that, to me, is a big fuck you, fans. We don't care what you think.
That wasn't the only fuck you. You got a double fuck you in it. The second fuck you made a bit more sense, yeah? And it should have been revealed to be a bit more sharp and hurting.
Is that Rey's parents?
Yeah.
That's a ruse.
I would prefer it if you turn around and it would have been, no, your parents were arseholes. Yeah.
I still think that's a ruse.
I'm hoping...
Many fans are speculating.
Come on. Many fans speculated on what Snoke was. What did we get? Fuck all.
But here, I think they might be right. Because it makes sense why Kylo would tell her your parents were nothing. He was trying to get her to join him. By telling her your parents are nothing is a way of making her go to the dark side. And the theory is sound. Whether it's true or not is another matter. But I've got a sneaky feeling that they're going to come back in. Because here's the other thing, right?
Hang on a second. They didn't pull the stupid Alec Guinness shit from the fucking first saga, where Alec Guinness was like kind of, what I was told you was true from a certain point of view. It rhymes. Everything's fine.
No, that made sense again. He didn't tell Luke that his father was one because he didn't want Luke to go to the dark side. You understand, again, that all makes sense. That's not a plot.
This comes back to Jedis are full of shit.
Yes, possibly. But here,
no, proof!
Here there is something which I just have a feeling they're going to play on. Twins tend to have twins. Twins tend to have twins. And where is... If Ben has a twin, where is he?
Or she.
I still think they might go back
No.
there. I kind of like the idea of her parents being nobodies. I like that idea.
That's a great idea, because that comes back to the hero with the thousand faces.
And I do, and it does kind of propel Star Wars into a new light and gives it a continuation beyond this saga of movies. And I like that. And I see where it's going. I just got the feeling that the theory is correct, because it also makes sense that Kylo would say, your parents are nothing.
If they were connected to each other and Snoke had no hand in it, I would have gone with that. But
I'm not necessarily saying
I prefer the idea of that her parents were genuinely
I'm not necessarily saying that she is Ben's sister or anything like that. I will say this again, twins tend to have twins. It's just a thing, not all the time, but, out of the 3 sets of twins I know, 2 lots have had twins.
Okay.
Twins do tend to have twins.
Okay, so I think we got it the first time, Keith.
So, anyhow, Luke,
yeah,
I don't really have an issue with in this film. Some people do, I don't. I get it.
I see Luke was good. I did like it. Is there any problems I had with him? No. I like the idea that he was a moody old bastard, because people do tend to grow into moody old bastards.
I think briefly, because we are really in-depthing in this. We should go into Finn briefly. I like Finn as a character. I liked him in Force Awakens. I liked his character. I liked it was a bit different. He was a stormtrooper.
I like the fact that he's a coward.
Yeah,
he's a coward for all intents and purposes.
And again, I liked Finn. Here, it is clearly obvious they didn't know what to do with him, and they gave him this whole B story that had no influence on the outcome. No,
keep your fucking head still.
No.
You shake your head and ruin the audio.
No, nothing really. The only contribution he had was towards the end when he tried to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, but this is the thing with Finn is that he's a coward. He's a coward, but him stepping up to do something.
Yeah,
makes him more interesting. That's what made him a better character than Rey in the first one, because he was like, if you're a coward and you're facing down your fear, you're a damn sight braver than the regular person.
When he's back with the Alliance, his character had a point. It's just that whole B story bullshit that didn't really...
Yeah, but hang on. This is the thing that got me. It was like kind of all these people are bastards, yeah, because they make weapons. Did they all make weapons? Is there not a guy who, who's a wealthy blue milk farmer or something?
That whole casino scene was too much. It was too much of like, hey, we're doing another cantina scene. This is Star Wars.
I didn't say nothing like that. You thought they were going to do a cantina scene.
It was a cantina scene.
That's another, when I was talking about earlier, but they gotcha shit. That's another one of those examples.
It was a cantina scene. You see, this is the thing. You see, I've watched Rogue One after I watched this twice because I wanted to go, I really want to know, is this better than Rogue One? And it's not. And I think I know why. What Rogue One did so well was it situated itself in the Star Wars universe, but it did a load of new things whilst still paying homage to the original. What did Rogue One do? Rogue One stuck Bumface and, you know, I don't like you either guy from the original as a nice little Easter egg on Jeddah, but Jeddah was a completely new planet. And it felt different. It looked different. The casino scene here again just was too much cantina, too much the bar scene. It's another bar, another thing. It was the same in episode 7. They walk into a bar and they did it again. You didn't need that.
I don't think it was. I think that
they
alluded to it and they wanted to make you think that. And then when you got there, they pulled the fucking rug out from underneath you. Apparently, Warwick Davis was in there in a suit, making him look tall.
Yeah, and the guy that plays the master code breaker is somebody famous who I can't for the life of me remember, but that he's a connection to it as well.
Yeah.
But again, see, I liked Rose. I kind of liked her character.
Her character was dumb. Let me explain why she was dumb. Yeah. Let's have a look. We've got to be diverse, yeah? This is how the meeting went. We've got to be diverse. So we need to put an Asian character in there. It's got to be a woman, okay? So what job can they do? Oh, well, Asian people are good at maths, aren't they? So naturally, there'd be some kind of mechanic or something on a starship. This is how it went, right? That's how it's a starship. We can't make her too attractive because people fancy Asian birds. There's like a little clique of people, like 2 people I fucking know.
Be careful.
Yeah, 2 people I fucking know. Yeah?
Be careful.
So naturally, we'll make her a podger. All right, she can fall in love with Finn. Yeah, Finn then can have an awkward kiss with her, where he's like, kind of, I'm grateful you saved my life, but I don't really like you in that way. I think I might be gay for Poe, which is probably more likely because we need a gay character. We haven't had a gay character yet. Look at the checkboard. Yeah, we're missing a Maori.
No, you're not.
When did they have a fucking Maori?
Maori was what's his face's father, and every stormtrooper of the Clone Wars.
He wasn't a Maori.
He was
not proper Maori.
That's where he came from. He wasn't Aussie. He was New Zealand, and he was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You've run really good. We need a Macronesian then. How's that then?
Boba Fett's father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a Macronesian then. How's that then? They're not about a fucking Macronesian, yeah. And he has to be fucking polyamorous, transgender. All right, finding one of these bastards is quite difficult. So they went through this fucking list and they pulled out this woman, and she's sweet and everything, but they made her. She figured out the hyperspace tracking. So the first thing you do is tell the Admiralty. Yeah.
Do you know there's a nice little Easter egg in Rogue One with that?
What's that?
Right, there's a link, and I think it's deliberate. In Rogue One, when what's her name is in the
that makes perfect sense. What's the name in the thingy with the what's name?
English, the one that annoys you.
What, I rebel, bitch?
No, yeah, I rebel, bitch. I can't remember her name.
That word would have been a better line. The moment she presses the button,
no, she's stealing the plans for the Death Star. She's literally in there.
Yeah.
She's in the archives, and one of the things she goes is, "Oh, this one's on hyperspace tracking."
Oh, okay.
She actually says it, and it's there, and she goes, "This one's on hyperspace tracking," and throws it out. You're like, "Oh, hang on."
Yeah,
but it is a link. I'm swear it's deliberate.
Yeah, but anyway, they had Finn. Yeah, so you had Finn, Poe, and Rose. Yeah, so you've got your trio of minority. Yeah, you've got your Latino guy, your black guy, and your Asian chick. Yeah, and what they did was fucking pointless and didn't contribute to the story, and they looked really fucking incompetent. That's what they did. Well done. There's a fucking role model for people.
No, right. I can understand what they were trying to achieve, but because they didn't succeed, that entire story plot became
rescuing space horses.
Yeah, and it did. If that was how they were going to escape, that whole plot point would have made sense. But that's not how they escaped. So therefore, if that was always the intention, you only did this because you didn't know what to do with Finn. But that doesn't mean I didn't like Rose. I quite liked Rose. I quite liked her character. It's not because she's Asian. Right? It was just because she was quite a nice new character.
She was a nice person. She was dumpy, so I didn't think.
Yeah, but you don't always need to be intelligent to be a good character.
Dumpy, as in short and fat.
Yeah, well, she was dumpy, but she was nice. She was cool. I quite liked her character. Just that. I quite like Poe. I quite like Finn. I just think they were. I think Poe was used reasonably well in this film. But I just don't think Finn was. And for the bits of Rose, and I liked her little bit at the end where she saves him.
Do you know what I find funny? I'll be honest with you. If he would have died then, blowing that cannon up, that would have made the film.
Yeah.
Yeah? If he would have died then, and you would have gone, shit! You would have gone, hang on, does that mean anyone could fucking die?
That would have been a braver decision, yeah.
Yeah? Because you would have gone, okay, the whole Space Force thing's forgiven because we're witnessing his last moments.
Yeah.
Then you get away with it. And it would have been more dramatic. Again, he's a coward. Sacrificing himself means a bigger thing.
I agree with you there.
But then Rose ruined it. And then they had the awkward kiss where they looked...
But that again all made sense. That bit curiously made sense for me. I did. That bit was okay. And again, within Star Wars, the I love you. And there's always been romance in Star Wars, and that worked. It's just the rest of the Beeline story. I mean, I found what's his face's Codebreaker character, which was barely a cameo, and everybody thought he was going to be Ezra Bridger. Quite interesting.
It would have been good if he was Ezra Bridger.
See, so what the fuck are they going to do? How
they're going to die? The
both
two Jedi's.
both
the Jedi's die. Chopper makes it, and Syndulla make it.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest.
Well, they might bring the Mandalorians back into an actual real life film, because essentially once we're done with episode 9, anything's a go. I still think, me and Nigel, I think they should go back and make a Knights of the Old Empire film.
I think they should. I would go back and make a Knights of the Old Republic.
I'd watch that shit. I would.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm summing this up. It's not a bad film. It's just got too many problems with it. I feel as an old school Star Wars fan, I am missing a massive piece of the puzzle, and I can't help escaping that. And you didn't explain it. You didn't tell me where the thing was. I can't help but feel, why didn't you follow Lucas's original set points? Because if the rumours are true about what Lucas was planning to do, that would have been quite cool.
What was Lucas planning to do? Go on.
It was going to be another Rise of the Sith, but it was going to be more of a personal thing rather than to the entire Galactic Empire. It was going to be more of a personal thing against the Central Three. And it was always intended to be made 25 to 30 years later. They were always going to be about this age. I would like to have known what Lucas handed over, because I think Disney should have kept to Lucas's treatment and then.
Have you not seen that? I've seen a few of the storyboards from the Force Awakens, where the Stormtrooper escapes from the escape pod like the droids did in the first film, because it will nod back to that. I think you'll probably be able to find some of the storyboards and bits that they've.
But again, none of these films are Lucas's treatment. They've completely ignored it. That's come out. They have not done anything that Lucas told them to do, and Lucas had quite detailed treatments for these next 3 episodes. So that bothers me. And I can't help get away from that, because whether you like it or not, Star Wars is Lucas's baby. Making films around it, like Rogue One, Solo, and a few of the other movies they're playing, that's cool. You can do that. And I dare say Lucas wants you to do that, because that's what he did with Clone Wars. He gave that to somebody else, and that's cool. But these 9 films are Lucas's baby. And to move away from the guy that literally, but whether whatever you think of those 3 prequels, the worst things wrong with them are not the writing. They are the direction, which was Lucas, but we've always said he was never a good director. He didn't direct Empire Strikes Back, and that is almost the best sequel. You can never touch Empire. This is another thing somebody said the other day. It's absolutely true. You're never going to make as good a film as Empire Strikes Back. You just can't. You can make a film nearly as good as that, and if you've done that, then you've achieved something. But you are never, ever going to get better than Empire. And it's probably true. So stop trying. and I just feel, as I said, I just feel it would have been better with Lucas's thing. And I maintain now that I still think Rogue One, I watched it again the other day and I enjoyed it much more. I think Rogue One is a brilliant film. And when I watch it, I'm now it's now sort of almost. It's put it in my cemented it in my mind that I actually think that Solo might end up being better. I think you might go and see Solo, and we might be sitting here going, "Oh, there's things wrong with it," but actually, it was a really good film. And I think we're going to have exactly the same thought of it.
Well, when it comes to Star Wars, my fandom for Star Wars properly died off with Revenge of the Sith,
and I understand why. But then,
I wanted.
That's a bit of a
hang on
lie.
a second. Hold on a second. All I wanted. I like Rebels, but that's completely different because Rebels is a fucking cartoon show. I have a really low opinion of Star Wars. I got a feeling. I don't think J.J. Abrams is what do you call it? I don't think he's a good director. I think he's a fucking shit director. He's got two tricks, One is the magic box. What is this? What is this? What is this? And those, for example, those were the bits in The Force Awakens, Who is Snoke? Who is Rey's parents, It's like, what, this big holograph, What's going on here, So you've got these boxes, never get fucking opened, And then the other one is he just plays fucking lip service. Prime example, I love the film, but I love the film for the wrong reasons. Star Trek Into Darkness, Yep.
No.
It just, again, comes back to the fucking stupid magic box things with Harrison. We all knew he was fucking Khan, And then it came back to the fan service thing because everybody loves, what's everybody's favourite Star Trek film? All together, it's the Wrath of fucking Khan.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So he's just going to do the same shit with Star Wars.
I don't think I think your love, maybe your fandom of the the saga is dead, but go back and watch Rogue One again. After seeing this,
I watched it. I didn't like it as much. I'll be honest with you. I watched it a couple of days back when I found it on.
I did. I liked it more.
Oh, what's it? I didn't. I just thought it was okay. I wasn't impressed. If I had to check, because the thing is, I stopped watching it halfway through and then watched a comedy with The Rock in. Watched Baywatch, which I found fucking funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
And I love the fact that it's like kind of you got what's his mush, the Zac Efron's character, and he just turned around saying, "Why are we solving crimes with fucking lifeguards?"
Yeah, but it was a piss take of Baywatch.
It was, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I like Rogue One. I didn't dislike The Last of the Jedi, but I don't think it's.
I think if you ask my rating at the moment, it's about 6.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Which is I kind of like it, but give it this time next year. I would probably bring it down to a 4.
Yeah, but I'm surprised by your. I've watched Rogue One the other day and liked it more, because it feels more like a Star Wars movie. It feels new, but familiar, and it didn't need. And it's a movie that was still good, minus the Jedi, which gives me hope that they can make movies in the Star Wars universe that will be interesting and don't need the Jedi in to make them cool. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, you should go and see it. If you've listened to all of this and haven't seen it, sorry, we've spoiled the fuck out of it.
Hang on a second, guys. All right, I'd just like to point out the following. Yeah, you're never going to get a full edit of this. I will keep the full edit so me and Keith can listen to it the next time we do a Star Wars review before we do a Star Wars review. But this is getting cut down to fucking pieces because I've fucking waffled on, Keith's waffled on, and he's punched his mic about 8 times.
It's one thing I'm passionate about is Star Wars.
Punching fucking microphones. It's like I did, like right at the beginning. Don't touch the mic. Yeah,
it's all right. I told my wife I was only going to be an hour.
Yeah, we've only been an hour. But I'll chop this down and try and make it a bit more coherent. I'll cut out the bits where we're repeating ourselves because I've done it and Keith's done it too. So
6.
Hang on. When it comes to the Return, is it the Last Jedi? Yeah. I think that I will give it a 6 now, but I reckon in a year's time when you ask me and I watch it at home on TV, I'll give it a 4.
I think you're right. I think
because the thing with these films is they hit you with so much, yeah? They do. They hit you with so much that you think you've had a good time until you go back and you go, hang on a second, that's bollocks.
And the hype around them. And it is the hype around them. These movies are awfully hyped up. But, I mean, to finish it off, I had the opposite with Rogue One. That's it. But I can get why you don't.
Yeah.
But I had the opposite of it. But that's probably because I appreciate it more. But yes, I would say at the moment I am the best new Star Wars movie is Rogue One. But this is a close second. This is still better than the sequels. There's a lot more to like in this than the prequels. But again, as I said, just so I think I'm missing something, and I wish they'd I can't get away from the fact that this is Disney not really caring, and I wish they'd done what Lucas had said, even if they were going to be shit. Because you made Rogue One. Fans forgive you, because most fans like Rogue One.
Yeah.
And even forgive the dodgy CGI for Leia and Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
Although, actually, the CGI is far worse for Leia than it is Peter Cushing. I thought it was the other way round when I saw it in the cinema, but when I saw it the other day, actually, the CGI is really dodgy for Leia.
Yeah.
And Peter Cushing kind of works.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
So what do you give it out of 10?
6. I agree with you.
It's a solid 6.
I said I would, if it had been a film outside of a saga, I probably would have given it a 7.
I think I probably would have enjoyed it outside the Star Wars
I
saga.
gave it a 5, and then you went, so it's a solid 6 then. And I went, yeah, okay, I agree with you. We'll give it a 6, and that's what we'll be.
Yeah, I think 6 out of 10 is fair, because it's like, if I just say, look, did I go in there and come out, and did I feel that my money was well spent and I had a good time? And the answer is yeah.
Yeah, no. It is a good popcorn film. It is a Star Wars film.
It's the only film I can really compare it to for the way it treats its storylines and stuff is fucking Fast and the Furious. I'm not joking. No, seriously, Fast and the Furious.
You're not entirely wrong in that.
Where Fast and the Furious sits there and says, "Oh, physics doesn't really matter too much, guys. Just check your fucking brain at the door and let's just enjoy this shit." That's what I think you have to do with this.
And you should do that with all Star Wars fans, including me. Take this far too seriously at times. There's a lot, but the problem is with this film is when there are holes in it, they are all too glaring. And that's the biggest criticism of it. There are holes that you cannot forgive so easily. Whereas we gloss over the ones in the other movies because we love them so much. You have to be more careful when you're making a film like this now because of the love of the old ones. So whereas we forgive the old ones more than we do here. Is it a good popcorn flick? Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. In respect that you can go and veg out because you've eaten too much in a cinema on Boxing Day and watch this film, and you will be guaranteed a good time. And that little Yoda Luke scene to me was worth it. Purely for that. I loved that. I loved it. I can't fault it. It was brilliant, that little scene. The fact they used the original puppet, I was just like, oh.
And they should have reskinned the original puppet.
I think they did, but he was meant to be old, and it was meant to look old, and it was a nice little homage. It was a nice little. Everything needs to look pin pixel perfect these days.
Hang on. Just one thing, yeah. Something that always made me laugh about Yoda is when he turns around, it goes 900 years old are you, looking so good, or something along those lines, yeah. And then there's a meme of David Tennant, yeah. Going, really?
Yes.
Just as Doctor Who?
Yes, I've seen that meme. It's very
That's great. Fucking
but that can be updated to Matt Smith, who's over 1,000 years.
But he was 900 years.
And he's on the front of GQ magazine, is Mr. Matt Smith this week.
Is he?
Yeah, I know.
GQ magazine's going out of date.
With a not his trademark hairstyle, quite short hair. Yeah. Not very Matt Smith-like. Anyway. Yes, we're done.
We're done. Let's go back to Nigel.
To the bald one.
And we're back. Anyway. That was great. I was fantastic.
Enjoyed that.
I hope you did enjoy that.
And I hope Gav got a word in edgeways over the top of Keith.
I would probably be fucking yelling at him. Shut up, you tart! Because he always interrupts me and then interrupts me with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the most annoying thing. It's like kind of, and then he's like kind of what?
And then inserts it as a comment of his own thoughts.
Yeah. And it's like, you were just following my conversation, you jumped ahead of me, you tart.
You just wanted to make sure that you said it so it sounded like you knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was...
Well, thanks for your input, Keith.
Yeah, thanks for your input, Keith. So
He's not here, so he can't defend himself.
no. So the big news that was that came out was that Disney's going to buy Fox for $52 billion. Now they're not buying all of Fox. Apparently, they're buying the film and TV studios.
Yes.
Which gives them they're taking that part, which gives them a 39% stake and a 39% stake in Sky over here, which will be interesting. Sorry, Sky over here. When I say over here, I mean Europe, rather than just the UK. Because Sky's like Fox TV over in the States, but they also own all the satellite bits too. So yeah, it's quite amusing. But that happening means that they've brought back all the Marvel characters that were missing. So you can have my brother said there's a good chance that they may actually pop the Silver Surfer in the second part of the Infinity Wars, who's key in the story because he's the one who helps a good chunk of people escape Thanos when he's wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. So that'd be quite novel.
I'm getting confused. Okay, which film's that?
Marvel's Infinity War. That's not the current one that's coming out. That'll be the one the year after.
Hang on. What? There's so many Marvel films going on at the moment. So you've got
Infinity
the Avengers number 2, which I haven't seen yet.
Number 3.
Avengers 2 I haven't seen.
You haven't seen Age of Ultron?
Age of Ultron was
Avengers 2.
Oh god, so many fucking Marvel films.
Yes.
No. Ultron's the one with the robot that takes his own. He takes
is the second
Iron Man suits, doesn't he?
Which is the second Avengers film.
And that's the second Avengers film. What was the third one?
The third one, which is coming out next year, which I was spooching over, is called the Infinity Wars one. So you've got Avengers of Infinity Wars. It's going to be in 2 parts. The first part will be next year, and then the next part will be the year after.
Oh, a 2-parter.
Yes.
The last time we had a 2-part film, it was called Harry Potter.
Yeah, but this is a bit different. They've got so many characters to go through. So much storyline to go through, where Harry Potter didn't have as much.
No, it's just a big book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have they said who's going to be in it? What characters are in that?
I don't know. I have no idea. Whoever survives, because Thanos is going to kill some people off. I think he's going to kill Pepper Potts off. I think he's going to kill Tony Stark off. I don't think he's going to kill Spider-Man off. I do think he's probably one. I might get Captain America, but I know the ones that he shouldn't get are Stephen Strange.
Yeah. Because
Stephen Strange, the Infinity Gauntlet only works in one universe. Yeah. So if you step into another universe like Stephen Strange can, using one of those sling ring things, and you can move into the mirror dimension or whatever, he'll be safe. And that's how they're going to save a chunk of people. It's by shifting them into the mirror.
Yeah, he'll probably move them in there, won't he?
Yeah. So you've got that part of it. So he's the only one that I know will probably be safe. And they have to introduce a character called Adam Warlock. And Adam Warlock is the person who's going to take down Thanos. And he was at the end of the second Guardians of the Galaxy film. Now you've got the woman, the golden lady.
Not seen it.
You haven't seen it? Alright, okay.
That's what I was probably getting confused with.
Yeah.
Not Marvel, Guardians Galaxy, because it's a group of people.
Yeah, but they're in it too.
Are they in it?
Yeah, they're in it.
Infinity?
The trailer. Remember the trailer? At the end of the trailer, Thor is in the thing with the guys, and he says, "Who the hell are you?" And it's all of them.
No.
Okay.
No, I can't remember.
Okay.
Really can't. They all get muddled up in my head because they're all pretty similar.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not a nerd about these films and series and stuff. I just like to watch them.
Okay. All right.
So what do you think about this buyout?
I think it's going to be strange watching a Xenomorph from Aliens do the Disney parade, and the Predator, and they're like dancing to that tune that they always have.
Yeah.
You know, they do that parade. They do the parade twice a day in Disney World.
as they go up the high street.
Yeah, and you see those two, just like the Predator and Alien, locked arm in arm, and they're dancing away. And the Predator's the alien's like throwing out face huggers to the kids. That's just going to really confuse the fuck out of me. But it means that Disney's probably going to start picking up films that are a bit more kind of adult, more like kind of serious films. I don't know what they can do about Deadpool, because they'll do that second Deadpool film, and then the third one. I don't know if Disney will look at them and go, "We're just going to give you a chunk of cash and leave you to it because you seem to have done well with just a chunk of cash. Don't spend a penny," and then say the following, "Don't spend a penny more," and they'll go, "Fair enough," and then Deadpool will come out.
The Orville's part of it now.
Yeah, the Orville will be part of it too. Yeah,
we love the Orville.
I do love the Orville. I saw a little thing with Seth MacFarlane who explains how that when you see the slow shots of the Orville, it's a model, and he loves the fact that it's a model. I didn't know that, but here comes a fun thing. They created the computer-generated model first, and fed that to a 3D printer. So that then printed out the model, and then they just tidied it up and put lots of kind of lighting and stuff in it, and it's just like, that seems absolutely fucking weird that the computer model was the basis for the model.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around. They usually do popping models into a thing and scanning them.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that they're using a model, a real model.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But all the
going back old school.
It is, but you said all the kind of fast shots. If you see any fast shots of the Orville, it's CGI. All the slow shots are model shots.
Do they have it on the bottom of a stick and go like you're flying a plane?
Kinda, but it's a bit more sophisticated than that to get some decent shots.
Here comes the Orville. Choo choo.
You sent me an amusing picture of Homer Simpson attacking Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Saying, "Welcome to the family," which James L. Brooks of The Simpsons looks like he drew and put online.
Well, it says Matt Groening on it, but, the typical Homer Simpson grabbing Bart by the throat going, whenever he's fucking naughty. They've just swapped Bart with Mickey Mouse. And Bart watching on going, "Welcome to the family, man."
See, I've seen South Park, and their version of Mickey Mouse is the one that I think probably exists, because he's the one who kind of, "Don't you do anything to bring the company's name in disrepute, or I'll beat the shit out of you." And it's like, I didn't get where I was today by fucking letting you get away with shite like that. I'm like, yeah, I think that might be true.
Yeah.
Wow. But that was...
It's a huge amount of money.
It is a huge amount of money.
$52.4 billion dollars. Yeah. That's dollars.
Yeah.
But still, that's a huge, huge amount.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Shall we talk about the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
The whole episode...
Let me remind myself what happened.
The whole episode... Let me just summarise it. The whole episode pissed me off till it got to the end, and I watched it and I went, okay, I can live with that episode now.
Oh, no, I've got to try and remember
what happened at the end. It's where they fuck up against Negan and his crew, and then gets to the end, and you find out that Carl's been bitten because he's been keeping that kid in the sewer.
Yeah, that redeemed it, because Carl's a fucking waste of a character. Terrible. Well, actor's done the job that he's been asked to do. However, they haven't done anything with his character for ages.
Yeah.
Nothing to make you like the kid.
No,
it's not the guy's fault.
I think the last thing that really happened to him was him and Negan, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
They hadn't done anything since, which was probably a year and a half ago now.
It does annoy me though. The episode, like yourself, it was fucking me off as to, okay, how the fuck did they get out? I know that they had swarms of walkers outside the gate. Daryl, he fucked up and blew the thing right open, didn't he, with the truck? But then they all went. Most of them were filtering inside, and they were picking them off and stuff. But then they started getting the walkers looked like they got the upper hand. Yeah. And were crawling all over the place inside.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're free. Sorry, what? I thought they might do a Chekhov's gun thing and show you how the fuck they got free.
Well, they did.
Because they didn't.
No, they did. They did.
At what point?
Right, here goes. There were 2 bits that indicate how they got out. The first point was there were the saviours that were in the warehouse with the lorry with the speakers on.
Who got killed?
Yeah. Then the second one was Eugene flying his drone with the speakers on. Yeah?
Yeah, which got shot.
Yeah. So all they did was get the truck that Daryl drove in there, put fucking speakers on it, and came out. That was it. They already told you how they were going to do it. Everyone knew how they were going to do it.
Yeah, but they didn't show you.
They didn't need to show you. They've already given you enough evidence to show to see it, and it's not exciting.
No, the fact that the swarm was on the outside, they had swarmed past the truck, and they were inside swarming in there as well.
Yeah, and Eugene said
said
you have to be careful with your bullets and conserve your ammo in order to clear a path. As soon as we clear a path, we can do the rest. And that's what he said inside the episode.
I do tend to drift off when Eugene is on screen.
Fair enough.
Because he is a boring fucking character. Nothing to him. Pointless character again. Yeah, that fucked me off. The fact that they've cleared how many outposts? Have they cleared?
3 at least.
Minimum 3.
3 big ones.
Somebody, I saw online somebody done a bit of totting up to see how many people they'd actually killed of the saviours.
Carol's killed 30 alone.
Carol has killed 30 alone, yes. And now, not forgetting what kicked all this off in the first place was Rick and the gang going in and taking out an entire outpost whilst they were sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's at least 30 people there as well.
Yeah.
So you're talking 60 already.
So Carol and the group is 60, yeah?
Yeah, that's 60. And then you've got more outposts that they took out that they showed you.
Yeah.
And how many was in each one? Minimum 20, 25?
They must have hit just 100 plus people.
Well over 100 or something people that they've killed. Right? When you see the inside of that sanctuary, or whatever they're calling themselves, the Saviour's place, there doesn't ever seem to be that many people in there. Just a few people working and like selling and trading stuff and whatnot in there.
Yeah.
But not more than 40, I wouldn't say, in the bottom. And they're just people who they've described as just workers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just workers. Not their soldiers. And the people they've been killing are their soldiers. Now what gets me is they've always, without fail, got way more numbers despite how many you kill.
Yeah.
That is something that they've got to address to make it a little bit more realistic, in the sense of not that fucking walkers are walking everywhere and they're zombies, but in the fact that if you want to try and get this a little bit more realistic in suspense and you can't fucking do that. They've killed more than 100 of these people, and they've not lost many of their own.
Yeah.
And then they've also teamed up with the
Hilltop and Kingdom.
That's right.
So my estimation is their forces they would number probably 60 to 70. Yeah.
Who's?
Now we say that the Alexandria and Coast, yeah?
Yeah.
60 to 70, yeah? Now we say that all the Kingdom people got wiped out.
Yes.
Yeah? So we'll say they're number 40.
Yes.
Yeah? And I would say the impression they gave you inside the Sanctuary, they numbered maybe 20 inside the Sanctuary. Being generous.
Being generous, yeah.
including Negan and his cohort. So there's like 15 off screen that we couldn't see.
They also said during a couple of bits back that when they thought Negan was dead, when he was actually with Gabriel in the hut downstairs, they actually said the people are going to start wanting to come up, and they go, no, they need to know their place, and their place is downstairs. They're not allowed up it. They're not fucking soldiers. So you can take away all those people who are on the ground floor, bar the 20 or so soldiers that are there.
Yeah.
And they killed a few of those as well when they were shooting at each other.
Mm.
So it's strange to me that they've killed so many of Negan's troops, soldiers, not normal, and yet they still outnumber them.
Yeah. So the bit I got pissed off is the bit where Simon the Pieman, the guy from Grand Theft Auto,
yep,
his lorries pull up alongside them. At the point I would have seen the lorries, I'd have been on the radio and say, the first one, just take out every gun needs to go into that first one's engine block. It needs to roll over to block the rest of the road. Because I don't care if the tree's blocking the rest of the road. We block that, get that one falling over. As soon as that one's fallen over, we scatter into the woods and we pick them off from the woods. Yeah? Yep. And you keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting them until they're gone. And actually saying that was a theme in Star Wars. It was genuinely a theme in Star Wars. Fucking in the go, this pajama is like this one instance where he goes like, we got the opportunity, we hit them and we keep hitting them until they're gone. And it's like kind of, you're not going to win a war by not fucking hitting people. I'm sorry, wishful thinking doesn't work.
No, and all they did, they saw ahead that the tree was felled, and they've gone, was that there earlier? No. Oh, it could have been Negan's lot then. They must be out.
To which you go,
and then they're like,
alert, alert.
Alert, alert. She did fuck all. At no point did anyone do anything. Literally nothing. And you're thinking, okay, time travel must be a thing in this universe, because the Saviours have, from where they are, all the way out there, managed to fell a tree in the time that it's, move it across the road, get over there, and then gather all the troops. How many they had more cars than the Hilltop lot did.
Yeah.
Hence, back to my original, how many fucking people are there? It doesn't, they just add more people to make it look like it's a bigger threat.
Yeah.
At no point have they shown that many people. And they've killed a lot. More than 100. And that's the thing that pissed me off as well. Time travel is definitely a thing for Negan and his gang. Because they get around. It takes like 2-3 days for anyone from the Hilltop or thing to get from one place to another. However, Negan's lot, they're in a jiffy, half an hour.
Yeah,
done.
So the other thing that would have made more sense is if he'd have turned around and he'd have blocked the roads off to Alexandria and put all his troops at Alexandria and wiped Alexandria off the face of the earth. And then moved on to the kingdom and then moved on to Hilltop. He'd isolated one, attacked that one, cleared it out, moved to the next one, isolate that one, attack that one, move on.
Well, yeah, they've got that many numbers.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. Because Negan obviously turns up at the same time to Alexandria with a similar amount of troops.
Yeah. I do want to know where he's getting this. Let's do the same
thing. Where are you getting all this?
Maybe the time was all screwed up to make it seem like that, but yeah.
Well, usually they put on there, like, they give you an idea. And, okay, that aside, because I'm banging on about the unbelievable way that Negan just suddenly has loads of fucking troops, just, it's like respawn. Anyway, Rick goes back to Alexandria, doesn't he? And he can see it's gone to shit when he arrives, and he's going, fuck. And he's now looking for Carl, and he can see it's gone to shit. So obviously he clearly doesn't know Carl at all, because he thinks Carl would stay at home like a good little boy. He doesn't know Carl at all, does he?
Yeah.
Because he's gone straight to home, and I've gone, why the fuck have you gone home? And you're also making a lot of noise. You're going, Carl! Sorry.
Yeah.
Coral. Yeah, and you're going, yeah. You can see they're under attack, and you're shouting somebody's name who they know is your son. You wouldn't be doing that. And then obviously he gets clocked by Negan. They have a little skirmish.
That fucked me off too, because again, it's in a situation like that, fight fucking dirty.
Right, he's going round the other side of the table.
Push the table.
Negan's got a bat.
He's got what's his mission? He's got a Colt Python, one of the most powerful handguns ever made in the world.
Yeah. Also, there's a table in between them. He could have, like you say, pushed a table into him. He could have picked up a fucking chair. If Negan swung, block with a fucking chair.
Yeah.
Those chairs are they're solid, but they're not heavy. That sort of chair. And when and Rick got the upper hand, didn't he? Eventually, he got the upper hand. And he got the bat. He got Lucille. What did he do with it? He turned it round with the end of the bat, the hand part of it, the bit you hold, and smacks him once in the face. And then leaves it. Hang on a fucking minute. You're the person who's sitting there going, I want to kill him, only me, blah, 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 or banging on about it. You get the opportunity, and you smack him in the head once, and then you stand there.
If I was writing that, I would have turned around and said that the fight pretty much would have gone down the way it would have, but with a few twists and him pushing the table against it. But he would have got the bat and broke the bat and then legged it, because he knows that Carl's not there and it's not worth it. So that shows that he can beat him. And he hasn't got Lucille to show off to people anymore, and then he has to explain to everyone why he hasn't got Lucille.
You just take the bat.
Yeah. You know,
because it's harder to break a baseball bat. It is.
No, it's not.
You have to really.
Just leverage it in something. Seriously, you leverage it in something, you snap it.
Yeah, but what they did, he hit him once, and you'd think you hit him once, and then you left it. Why? The idea, the whole plan that you've been telling us about this whole season was for you to kill him. You had the opportunity. You smacked him with the kind end of the bat with a jabbing motion, which knocked him back a bit, knocked his confidence quite a bit. However, why didn't you do it once or twice? And I would have understood if he'd gone smack, and then Negan's kicked him in the balls because he stood over the top of him and he's lifted a leg up and he's gone bang between the legs, and Rick's gone fucking knocked a little bit, because he saved himself.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And then he jumped out the window with his Colt, and he could have just leaned back in the window and gone bang when Negan was. Yeah. But he didn't. He picked up his Colt and he fucking ran.
Mm.
He ran. It was annoying.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good episode.
No, I found it annoying. I had trouble getting to sleep. I was so fucked off with that episode, I'll be honest with you.
I was so pissed off with that episode.
Because all the other episodes, all 5 prior to that, were perfect. Yeah? They screwed up, but they fucking came back, yeah?
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is perfectly fine. But yeah, it was annoying. But yeah, it's the fat girl at the fucking kingdom. The one in the hijab, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I'm always suspicious of fat people during the apocalypse. Even fucking Ezekiel's mate. It's like, how are you fat during the apocalypse?
Yeah, there's hardly any food. What's going on?
How are you fat? And it's like, kind of, I'll be honest with you, if we get rid of her, we can feed another 3 people.
Yeah. How are these people... Yeah, they...
Avoid fat people during the apocalypse.
Because they will eat your supplies. You ration it. It's just like what Negan said, actually. It's one of the better lines. When he first went to Alexandria, and they're going around taking all their guns and stuff like that, and the fat woman was in charge of rationing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like looking at her going, he put you in charge of rationing?
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Even Keith would agree, and he's 3 times the size of me. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think they're losing perspective. The writers. I think they're trying to do too much arty-farty stuff and trying to build suspense by adding in bits that just aren't believable. In that universe isn't believable.
Yeah.
It's not believable to have walkers anyway. It's even worse when you've got that unbelievable nature that they stick in. Oh, suddenly he's got another 25, 30 people turning up. Oh, he's behaved like that all the way up until now, but suddenly he's not going to behave like that anymore, just to move the plot on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
I do know what you mean.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
It's not a good watch at the moment.
That last episode wasn't a good one. It's been good up until that one point. And it was just, I felt like that if they would have had a pitched gun battle with the others in the dark, that would have worked out fine for me. Or if they would have isolated Alexandria and went to Alexandria, that would have been better too. But it's one of those things. Anyway, should we wrap this bastard up and put a bar on it, considering we had a ton of Star Wars stuff in the middle, and Keith just yammered on for ages, repeating himself.
Yeah, I haven't heard what Keith's got to say, but I'm guessing he has yammered on and on and on and on. And he said the words, "I loved it," a few times. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Oh, it was the best Star Wars ever. I loved it so much. It's
the best Star Wars ever until the next one.
This is the thing that always gets me with Star Wars reviews for everything, is everyone turns around and say, it's the best Star Wars film ever. Everyone says that. The only one that they haven't said it against was The Phantom Menace, I think, where it's like, it's a Star Wars film they described it as. Which wasn't a lie.
I saw somebody wrote on Twitter, I was in an Uber today, and the Uber driver was saying, "Oh, I watched the latest Jedi film."
Yeah.
It's shit. All the other films since the first 3 have been shit. So he's a diehard Jedi.
I'm gonna go and check my my Facebook to see how many people have watched it. God, no, this is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, you can do that. Check in next week to find out what happens.
Yeah. And on that note, I think it's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And goodbye. I'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Ta-ra.
Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter @Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Monkey Nut Punch.